Hello, this is Plutoburns, and I am doing a review of the Metro 2033 book written by Dmitry Glukhovsky. Now, yes, there's a video game based on this book called Metro 2033, and the footage you're watching right now is from the sequel, Metro Last Light. But the games and the books don't share much beyond the setting. Yeah, the Metro 2033 shares the basic plot structure of the book, but Metro Last Light does its own thing with the original character and the setting. But in all honesty, the setting is really the most interesting part of this book. I don't know if this is a unique post-apocalyptic scenario, but it is a very interesting one because this is not, oh, everything is wrecked, we're the last of humanity scrambling to hold on to what's left. No, after the nukes dropped, a bunch of people and some government facilities were moved into the metro tunnels underneath Moscow. Yeah, definitely Moscow. And 30 years later, or I think it's 15 years now, the society has just built from there. They've got pigs, they've got chickens, they've got rats for meat, they have water filtration systems that were, there for emergencies. The tunnel walls and ceilings protect them from the radiation above, and they send men up with radiation suits every now and then to get fuel so that they can power generators, which they're very careful to run at low power so that they have weak electrical lighting at all times. And in all honesty, it's just a very stable society. It's functioning, and it's under no external threats at the moment until the Dark Ones show up. Yes, the Dark Ones are... I don't want to call them the central villain, but they drive the plot. They're not really a villain because we encounter them in the beginning, and then we encounter them at the end. But for the most part, in the middle of the book, they're not there. They're just sort of a looming threat that drives the plot, but we don't encounter them for the most part. The Dark Ones are mutant from the surface. Most of the wildlife on the surface now is mutated into terrifying forms, none of which are given a very clear description, which can work for you. I mean, they're given basic descriptions, and your imagination can probably fill in the rest. But the Dark Ones are described as humanoid-ish. I mean, they don't look human, but they've got, the body structure. And the Dark Ones are surprisingly resistant to bullets, and capable of driving men insane. No one's really sure how they do this, but it's happened a lot, and they're starting to become a problem at Artyom, our main character's home tunnel. Artyom encounters a hunter, the men who go onto the surface and search for things. They're like the firemen of this world. They are so well respected. And he's told that he needs to go to another tunnel, find another station tunnel, find a hunter, and give him a message. Artyom takes this job and has to travel essentially to the other side of the metro. And that wouldn't be quite so difficult. I mean, yeah, it would take him a little while since he's going on foot. No train cars run anymore. But it wouldn't be so bad if it weren't for all the political factions between him and his goal. He encounters Nazis, he encounters communists, he encounters sort of a capitalist regime, but they're more just the central loop, which gives them a lot of maneuverability within the tunnels, so they're a big trading company, essentially. Now, the book does focus a lot on just how difficult it is to survive, but it also has a very spiritual bent. There's a man we encounter fairly early on in the book known as Khan, and I would describe him as the tunnel whisperer. He knows how people think and act in the tunnels, and he knows the way the tunnels behave as sort of a omnipresent force on the human psyche. He understands how difficult it is for people to move through complete darkness without losing their sanity. In spite of its strong spiritual elements, the book does not like religion. It's palpable, the author's distaste for religion. We encounter 3 cults over the course of this book. A Satanist cult, a Christianity cult, and a cannibal cult. At no time does the author or the characters make it clear that these are anything but minor annoyances, except for the cannibal cult. They're kind of a threat for a while. But they essentially are useless. They don't accomplish anything. They don't do anything useful. They're just there, and they're a thing for people to cling on to. Apart from that, though, there is, as I said, a very strong spiritual element. The tunnel is portrayed as a living, breathing environment that you must respect if you want to survive in it. And there's also an interesting moment with the Kremlin, which has a dome with stars on it, where any man who looks at it, for some reason, it's not explained, becomes hypnotized and will just run towards it. This is on the surface, of course. And Artyom falls for it. It's a real phenomenon, and it's very dangerous. It's never given an explanation, but it's palpable, this strength of spirit that the Kremlin seems to exude. This is a very well-written book, and the translation from Russian into English has not hurt it one bit, as far as I can tell. The only thing that suffers is the names of the stations, which are unwieldy, to say the least. But for the most part, you can just sort of think of them as, oh, this is Artyom's home location, oh, this is where this happened. You don't necessarily have to refer to them by their names. I really did enjoy this book, but I will warn any potential readers. It is a very well-written book, it's a good story, but it is not a light read. In spite of the fact that I was truly absorbed into this book, and I'm a pretty quick reader, it took me an entire weekend to get through this not particularly long book. I mean, yeah, 500-something pages isn't short, but it's not frighteningly long either. But it's not a quick read. You do need to sit and absorb the storytelling that the authors presented you with. You cannot skim through this. But yeah, Metro 2033 gets a big thumbs-up recommendation from me, and I hope more people learn to like this book through something more than just the games, which are good. This has been Plutoburns. Thank you for watching.